Greetings, everybody. Happy second day of the new year. I wanted to give a shout out real quick to Trish and Isabel for being my two newest patrons on Patreon. I'm so excited. If you want to check it out and see if there's any way you want to support me through Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/mkateallen. And I thought, since I now have 5 patrons, it's as good a time as any to read you a little bit from my next book. So, give me a second. My last book was not my last book, but my very last book was Memory Stands Still, the re-release. But the one before that was Michelle Lobos in the Labyrinth. And at the end of Michelle Lobos in the Labyrinth is the first chapter of Jasmine Lynn in the Dollhouse. It wouldn't be long now. A few more carefully placed miniature shingles and the finishing touches on Jasmine Lynn's dollhouse would be complete. Jasmine took care to place each stained cedar shingle, adjusting each with the nudge of a pair of tweezers, adding a drop of wood glue where more was needed. She stepped back and folded her arms, assessing her handiwork. She had built the dollhouse from a kit, putting it together piece by piece like a 3D puzzle. Once that was done, she began modifying the outside and inside with added details. Every window frame had a perfectly placed plastic film to resemble glass, and the windows at the front of the house also had a special design of narrow columns with points at the top to resemble the windows of an old-fashioned bungalow. Before installing the shingles, she'd stained them herself with a little help from her mom, who opened the stain can and helped her set up a place on the back porch to work so she wouldn't get woozy from the fumes. The outer walls of the dollhouse were a deep maroon color with stained wood trim. Inside, the walls of the dollhouse were off-white, and the floors had thin layers of vinyl glue to them that looked like hand-laid wood flooring. On the main wall of the living room, a wooden panel with carved lettering in the style of the famous architect Frank Lloyd Wright said, "Jazzy is the coolest kid on the block." That had been her own idea, and a great one, she thought. She could hardly believe she was finished. Just in time for summer, she thought. Though she did well in school, Jasmine was usually bored with her daily classwork. She preferred creating wild adventures on the playground, spinning perfect pirouettes in PE, and above all, creating something from nothing with her hands at every opportunity. Most of the time, school meant a bunch of bookwork about stuff she already knew. At home, though, she could do all kinds of hands-on activities that stretched her imagination and tested her skill. This dollhouse was her latest in a long line of projects that required patience and a sharp attention to detail. "Your daughter is a rare soul," Jasmine overheard her third-grade teacher, Ms. Dobbins, say to her parents once. "Whatever you're doing with her, keep doing it." School was over as of yesterday, though, and the whole summer lay before her. Jasmine knew that a bunch of her friends on Grove Street would be headed outside to play after lunch, and it was nearly lunchtime now. Jasmine heard a quick rap at the door. The door opened, and Jasmine's dad peeked in. "Time to eat, Jazz." "Hey, did you finish your dollhouse?" Jasmine was about to reply when she caught sight of the open wood glue container. She blushed, hurrying to put the lid back on before her father noticed. He was already busy examining her work. Both he and Jasmine's mom were architects. They believed that to be an architect meant to practice perfection every day, and they both expected the same of their daughter. Jasmine exhaled as her father looked up with a smile. "You've done a fine job, Jazzy. Now come on, let's go eat." Downstairs, Jasmine and her dad joined her mom on the back porch for one of her favorite lunches, bento boxes that included chicken teriyaki, rice, and salted edamame pods. The smell of magnolias wafted on the breeze, tickling Jasmine's nose as she sipped iced tea. She and her parents ate without talking, enjoying the birdsong and the rustling of the leafy trees around them. When they had eaten their fill and Jasmine had helped clean up, she asked her mom if she could go out and play. Her mom nodded, gave her a kiss on the forehead, and told her to have fun. "I will," she called, and she ran out the front door and down the street where two of her best friends, Roxy and Kennedy, were talking excitedly. "Hey guys, what's going on?" Jasmine called. Her friends waved her over. "You're not going to believe this, Jazzy," Roxy sputtered. "Believe what?" "You know the empty lot at the end of Arcadia Lane? Where we play kickball?" Yeah, Roxy said excitedly. You know how I can see the end of the street from my bedroom? Last night, everything was normal, right? When I woke up this morning and looked outside, the lot wasn't empty anymore. Okay, Jasmine said. So what's there? A house. A house? A house. A whole stinking house. Overnight, I swear it wasn't there when I went to bed. Want to see? No way, she didn't want to see. She and her friends ran together till they had reached the corner of Grove Street and Arcadia Lane and looked down the street where Roxy pointed. Jasmine gasped. The lot wasn't empty, all right. There was a house, all right. It was her dollhouse, right down to the windows, and it was human-sized. Thanks for listening. I look forward to hearing from you.